Once again, good evening all. Welcome to the day 48 of our UGC-NET paper 1 class. And actually what I did today is that in this syllabus, our tentative schedule, so this two was in one class and this was separately one class. But due to yesterday's limited slides and class timing, so I plan to merge this because I think we should cover almost as a whole for 1 hour. So I merged this, and tomorrow, actually not tomorrow. So tomorrow there is no session, and if possible Friday or else Monday. So the next class it would be the combination of these three. So with that we will be completing this unit. So maximum 4 or 5 days are of class. 4 days only. I think I planned 4 days only. So excluding today, remaining 4 days of class is remaining for our total the 10 units plan. So with that we are closing off. So now moving into the class. So methods of research. Actually yesterday, not to be exact, yesterday I think in the previous some of the classes, by start of this unit or earlier in some other unit, we were discussing about data, all those things. So there we have come across the different types of both data as well as research. So while scrolling or while browsing the internet regarding data collection for this particular PPT, I came across a debate or more like a discussion forum where they are asking about what is research methodology versus research methods. So so many definitions were there. There one simple guy gave a very simple explanation. So imagine you are constructing a house. So in that house you are having a blueprint on what you want to construct. That particular blueprint is known as research methodology. You will be having tools, various kinds of tools for carpentering, wiring, and all those things, construction. That particular tools, not materials, tools. That particular tools are known as research methods. So this was the simple example which was very intriguing for me. So that's why I wanted to discuss it here. I hope you get the idea on what is research methodology and what is research methods. So now in yesterday's class we have seen about experimental method, and today we are going to go through about the remaining 4. So first, descriptive. So what is a descriptive research? Again, some of the wordings or statements from the previous the classes I have repeated here. So if you do remember, well and good. If not, you just recall it. So here, descriptive research is a type of quantitative research method that aims to describe the characteristics, behaviors, events or phenomena of a population or situation. So here they are not focusing on the why, but what, when, where. That is what they are focusing. So it is a widely used method in academic and applied fields. So it more like it does not give any kind of explanation. Still, they are observing and describing the behavior of a subject. For example, in yesterday's class I gave a sun rising phenomenon. So there I am observing the rising of sun every day. I am noting down the total time frame of the rising of sun from certain point to another point, and also I am marking down my latitude and longitude, all such things in my own perspective, not exactly. So day by day there are certain changes and certain flow of pattern, that linearity pattern appears. So I am marking down. So here I am just observing what is there, or I am observing how it is done. So the rising of sun observation could be called as descriptive research. But if I am going to ask a question on why it is like that, then that would comes under other kind of researches. So here descriptive research is the mainly for what, when, where and how. So now objectives of descriptive research. So first, the main objective would be it is to describe the current status of a phenomenon. Next, like I said, the patterns. So here, to identify patterns or trends in a behavior or other attitudes or conditions. Next, to provide factual and accurate data about a group or population. So if I am going to record through any camera or something, then at the most I am recording what is that, the actual thing, the accurate thing. So instead of sun, if I am focusing on a particular group, a set of students, that is also a descriptive research. So here, to provide factual and accurate data about a group or population. Next, to form the basis for further research such as experimental or explanatory. So these are the objectives of descriptive research. Now they have given certain characteristics. So actually when I was going through the links I have given, so each and every pages, web pages, they have given so many things and jamming into different kinds of things. So I approached the ChatGPT for a simpler version, because my even our own idea, ultimate goal should be understanding or assimilating everything whichever in a simpler manner. So that's why I have given the all the tabular formats are taken from the ChatGPT only. So if you guys want further more explanation or in-depth analysis, you please go through the bibliographies given. There are so many websites where they are giving different kinds of explanations. So first characteristics, it is quantitative in nature, that is you can quantify it. So that is mainly numerical data, percentage and averages. So non-manipulative, here there are, if we are asking about a population, let's say I am saying 1250 or 1257, that number cannot be manipulated if I am doing it accurately, because I know the number of population, that is the sample size, all those things. So my data could not be manipulated unless otherwise I am making it voluntarily error. Next, structured design. So like they are using the surveys, questionnaires and all those things. Next, snapshot of the present. So here, please note here, it is mainly focusing on the current happenings. So that is in present. Then large sample sizes. So often uses large representative samples for generalization. Next, standardization. So standardization is all the instruments and processes are in a standardized manner to ensure the data collection uniformly or properly. So these are the different characteristics of the descriptive research. Now types of descriptive research. In this itself, survey research, observational research, case study, content analysis, correlation study, all these things are there. I hope in the previous class itself I have explained. I don't want to repeat. So shall I have to explain each this, or shall I move on to the next slide? Guys, one or else
it's up to you.
No. In the previous classes I have explained all those things. Okay. So மேம் ஜீவாபதி மேம், பரிமளா மேம், உங்களுக்கு சொல்லணுமா இல்ல நான் அடுத்தது ஸ்லைட் மூவ் ஆகட்டுமா?
நெக்ஸ்ட் ஸ்லைட் போங்க சார்.
Okay. So methods of descriptive research. See here, types. This particular thing is types, where we have so many the same thing, different kinds. But in a way, it is also a kind of method. So which tool we are using to identify what? So here, methods of descriptive research means we get questionnaire, interview, observation and document review. So Here the document review. These three would come under primary data, but this will be coming under secondary data. So what are all the tools after? So we have collected all the data. So what are the tools which we have to focus to identify the final result? So that is first frequency distribution. Frequency distribution, then mean median mode, and then standard deviation, cross tabulation, graphs and charts. So these are the main things which we are doing everything. So I don't know if I'm saying correctly, please verify my statement. So in recent Viva where one professor, that is one external came, he simply said that, I think you guys might know, if you are finding the mean median mode and standard deviation in a study, that alone, then that is a quantitative study. So you are quantifying it. But if you are doing further analysis, correlation analysis, regression analysis, t-test, ANOVA, then that is qualitative. So this was the difference he gave to in the example. I don't know whether I am saying it correctly exactly. So please verify this particular statement. But if it is correct, please keep in mind the things which we easily identify. This might come in handy while attending the exam. So next is historical research. So historical research is a qualitative research which examines the past. So descriptive research analyzes the present. This particular thing, historical research, is focusing on the past events to understand and interpret the present and anticipate the future. So mainly this involves collection, verification and synthesis of evidence from the past to establish facts and draw conclusions. So in simpler terms, let's take cooking. So first வந்து நம்ம சமைக்கணும்னு நினைக்கிறோம். We are trying to cook a new dish or somewhat older dish. What we are doing, we are gathering data from either our mom or any elders. To some extent, if they have any kind of recipes at home, we are taking that, we are making. So that particular recipe, either by verbal or a written format, that is a historical data, where we are utilizing what is used there to recreate that, to adapt with the present. And to some extent, there is a possibility we might change some of the recipe contents, or we may add something to test and try out a new format. So that deals with present and anticipate the future. So I am just evolving from the first I am adapting the past and evaluating in the present, then evolving in the future. So that's how a simple cooking transforms. Because nowadays so many dishes we eat, for example, me personally a biryani fan. So I eat, so I love eating biryani. But I came to know that there are in India itself, throughout the geographical structure of India, around 48 to 49 kinds of biryani are there. So in Tamil Nadu itself, I think 5 different kinds of biryani, and Kerala 3 to 4 different kinds of biryani. So it like in that particular Instagram reel, I saw that the total of Indian, that geographical structure, from Kerala to Jammu Kashmir and again towards Tamil Nadu, the whole cyclic, they have different kinds of biryani. But in general, if you are taking a biryani, the main ingredients of all the biryani is same. That is rice, the whatever meat you are using, or even vegetable, tomatoes, all those things. The basic main ingredients are same for all the kinds of biryani. Still, when they are making in a certain method, the methods they are using, even to some extent methodology they are using, we obtain a different taste of biryani. So that is how here we are using historical things. So when we analyze, why do we need this particular research? So main thing is, not I said the example of cooking, but as a whole for governing a country or something, we need to take an experience of handling a similar situation happening in the present. For example, COVID-19 lockdown. So during the first lockdown, there were so many restrictions for I don't know about other states. In Tamil Nadu there were so many restrictions which we could not do this, do that, like that. But by the time of second and third lockdown and all, people almost they have adapted to live with corona itself. So they managed with certain things which they can do, which they can expand, like that. So there we have the first thing would become history, so that we gather the data and live a somewhat feasible life in the second lockdown and third lockdown. So these are the historical things. So we need to know the historical facts. So here also objectives. So what is the thing? It is to discover the origin and development of ideas, practices, institutions. So when we talk about origin, our common debate problem, that is which language is first, Tamil, Sanskrit, and so many languages are there, no? Which comes from which? All these problems are always there. So next, to reconstruct the past objectively and accurately. So in excavation sites from Egypt, that is in the pyramids and all, now they have developed a software where that particular software, based on the mummies identified in the pyramid, they are at most trying to recreate the facial features and physical features of that particular mummy. So to some extent they are almost accurate with how that particular mummy, the person belongs to that mummy, no? So how he would have looked at that time of his living. So here they are trying to reconstruct the thing. Next, to evaluate the influence of past events on the present and future. So when I went to the RMC course in Pondicherry, doing the May month, there while discussing, I came across different ones which struck me so hard. What is that means? We are, so the British has ruled us. When we talk about them, their ruling, we somewhat detest them, or what they did, we hate for them to some extent. But that is the same thing happening for us in the Indonesian countries, that belt, no, Java, Sumatra, Indonesia, all those things. In particular, not exactly India, in particular it is Tamil Nadu, the Rajaraja Solan and all those things. Because we as a Indian or a Tamilian, we take pride in the achievements and conquering of those kings in that country regions. That is, we used to say they have traveled the sea and captured so many lands. But from their perspective, they are seeing these kings as oppressors who, like what the British did to us, no, that is somewhat they did to them also. So they are seeing, even till date, they are seeing these people as somewhat oppressors. So here I was dumbstruck with what that personifies. So here we are evaluating the influence of past events on the present and future. Next, to identify trends, causes and effects, and lastly to learn from past success and failures to inform future decisions. So here also there are certain features of historical research. First, it is qualitative and interpretive. So qualitative means like we cannot confine it into the numerical value. Next, it is interpretive, and compulsorily it is document based. Third one, it is past oriented, and we are analyzing, so it is analytical. Lastly, objective and evidence based. So there are two different sources of historical research. First is primary sources, direct evidence, and then secondary sources, interpreted evidence. So primary source, that is original documents, whichever observed by the person involved in the particular history, or artifacts, so photographs, videos, and eyewitness accounts, newspapers of the time. So you guys heard about Colonel John Bennyquick? அவரை பத்தி கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கேன். Jatin, have you heard about Colonel John Bennyquick?
No, I didn't.
Ma'am, Jeevapati ma'am, நீங்க, அபூர்வா ma'am, what about you guys? Colonel John Bennyquick, அவரை பத்தி கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கீங்களா?
ஆமா சார், அந்த பாலம் ஏதோ கட்டினார்ல, இது ஒரு ஹிஸ்டாரிக்கல்
பாலம்
அது
பாலம்
என்னது?
இல்லை, நம்ம கேரளா டேம் இன் கேரளானோ முல்லை பெரியார் டேம்.
சாரி, ஆமா அவர்தான்.
So முல்லை பெரியார் டேம், he was the constructional engineer of முல்லை பெரியார் டேம். So என்னன்னா actually even till date the belt where I think Dindigul, Theni and I don't know exact districts, that belt, you know, throughout the Western Ghats, there people are every year annually they are taking some festival and worshipping that guy as God till now, every day, I mean every year. So they speak volumes about that particular guy because there is a data, I don't know, here first, according to them, this guy is a Britisher. He first contracted the dam construction project from the British, not contracted exactly, so he is the construction, that civil engineer of that project. Due to some reasons the Britishers stopped the funding, so he went back to his own country, that is England. He sold most of his property. With that money he came back and built that Mullai Periyar dam. So because of that Mullai Periyar dam, a certain region among nearby the Western Ghats are now receiving that water facilities, irrigation facilities. So that's why their descendants, the people descendants, are worshipping this guy like a festival. How they are worshipping deities and gods, they are worshipping like that. But here the strange fact, when it is approached for the family of that particular Colonel John Bennyquick, their family itself doesn't know such history. Their descendants, not even the what to say, the color is all, I think symmetry. So the symmetry itself of this guy is somewhat mediocre, but the people here are worshipping him like a god-like creature. So here arises the question, if a whole region of almost a state is knowing about this guy, why don't the own family members or the descendants of this particular guy doesn't know that? So which is true? Are they exaggerating that he spent most of the things like his own? Actually the Rajinikanth film, no, Linga, it is somewhat indirect biography of that guy. So the old Rajinikanth, he sells his all those things, no? So everything that is it is indirect biography of that Colonel John Bennyquick. So here is the main thing. So now if we go and ask about this guy, the eyewitness accounts and newspapers, all those things, they will say something. And even second, the history books, biographies, research papers, encyclopedias and text. This is what happens here, the primary source and secondary source. Now the thing which I wanted to mainly say about techniques of historical criticism. So external and internal. So first thing deals with the authenticity of the document or source. So like I said, no, if I am going to that Western Ghats particular region, if I ask any person about Colonel John Bennyquick, they will say something that he spent his entire fortune to build this dam. But when their own family members doesn't know, that means how can we measure whether it is real or fake? So that is the biggest problem in this thing. Next, internal criticism. This one deals with the credibility or accuracy of the information. So first, any document is there, I am analyzing that particular. So if they are going to show me a newspaper content, I have to assure that particular document is, that newspaper is true or false. Here now I am asking a people, the person, I have to analyze the credibility or accuracy here. So like I said, no, are they exaggerating the content? So these are the main things in particularly historical research alone. So the external criticism and internal criticism. Now moving on to qualitative research. So qualitative research is a method of inquiry that explores human experiences, behaviors, social contexts and meanings. So mainly, see here the person Benson and Lincoln, they have given a statement. Qualitative research is a form of social inquiry that focuses on the way people interpret and make sense of their experiences and the world in which they live. So here it is more about the individual experience. That is the simple thing we can say. So qualitative research is more about individual experience. The same thing. So for example, best example is the movies. So a particular movie, I might love it to my whole heart. Some people might hate it and some people would be neutral. So the same content, same projection, everything at the same time, three of us different from each other have different kinds of opinions. So if they are observing or asking about our opinion and making a data of it, then that particular thing would be called as qualitative research. So the objectives, so the, like I said, it tries to understand meaning and perceptions, and then here they are trying to explore the how and why of a phenomenon, then to provide in-depth understanding of social or cultural contexts, and then to generate theories rather than test hypotheses. Lastly, to capture the complexities and nuances of real life situations. So the characteristics, first, it is natural, the natural setting. It is conducted in the real world setting. Next, subjective and interpretive, not objective. It is subjective, and that one is deductive. This one is interpretive. So it emphasizes the participant's point of view, and then inductive approach. So first, it tries to builds their, they are collecting the data. Based on the data, they are finally arriving at certain conclusions, and from that conclusions they are building a theory. So that is the qualitative research. So that is from bottom to up, whereas quantitative is top to the bottom. That is, a theory is there, they are having certain assumptions, based on that assumptions they are testing. So here open-ended and flexible. So it uses unstructured or semi-structured tools. Then rich narrative data. So data collected are in the form of words, audio, video or text. And lastly, smaller and purposeful samples. So the samples they are selecting now, that is for depth and relevance, not for generalization. So here also there are certain different types. First is ethnography study. So the study of culture and social interactions of a group through immersion. Even I think nowadays this and all particular degree itself is there. Next, phenomenology. So understanding lived experiences of individuals regarding a phenomenon. And then grounded theory. So developing a theory grounded in data systematically collected and analyzed. Then case study, and then narrative research. Lastly, action research. So how the change and what is there any change, and based on the change how it is reflecting the other factors of that particular individuals. So these are the different types of or approaches of qualitative research. So here sampling, they have three types of sampling. First is purposeful sampling, that is choosing participants with rich relevant experience. So I am taking a agricultural study. So I am going to the particular farmer who plants certain kind of crops. So he has rich experience. I am getting the sample from him. That is the purposeful sampling. Next is snowball sampling. So I am going to one farmer. He is suggesting or directing me to another farmer along with him. And likewise it goes on. So that is snowball sampling. That is existing participants refer new participants. Lastly, theoretical sampling. So in-grounded theory. So participants are selected to refine emerging theory. So here I need not to pick exactly the rich person. I can somewhat adjust with some not exactly rich but lighter experiences like that. So these are the different sampling in qualitative research. So data analysis in analysis techniques in qualitative research. First is thematic analysis. So I am trying to identify the recurring themes and patterns. Then content analysis. So here categorizing textual information into meaningful categories. Then third one, narrative analysis. So I am analyzing stories or personal accounts. Then discourse analysis. So examining language, power relations and context. Lastly, coding. Labeling chunks of text to organize and interpret data. So the main thing, no, trustworthiness, like I said. So here, see, they have given a criteria at the same time, their corresponding term in the quantitative research. So here credibility, that means their internal validity. Here transferability, that means external validity. Then dependability, that is reliability, and conformability, that is objectivity. So credibility, truth of the findings, accurate representation. Then transferability, applicability in other contexts or settings. Then dependability, so consistency of findings over time. Lastly, conformability, neutrality, so where it is not of any bias. So this is the trustworthiness requirement in qualitative research. Now moving on to quantitative research. So quantitative research is the systematic investigation of a phenomena by gathering quantifiable data, that is numerical or statistical. So it focuses on measuring variables and analyzing relationships using objective tools. So like I said, no, this is objective and qualitative is subjective. This is deductive, that is inductive. So that one is bottom to top, this one is top to bottom. So that's how the qualitative and quantitative is differ from each other. So quantitative research is a foundational method in scientific inquiry, offering precision, objectivity and reliability. So it enables researchers to measure variables, test hypotheses and make data-driven decisions. So the characteristics of quantitative research, like I said, no, first is objective, then structured tools. There are unstructured tools, that is either it is unstructured completely or some semi-structured. Then here statistical analysis, and then numerical data we are getting. Here also, but large samples are repeated, so we can get a larger samples. There inductive reasoning, but here deductive reasoning. Then replicability, this can be replicated throughout anything. So types of quantitative research, here also see here descriptive, correlational and casual comparative, that is ex post facto, then experimental research, then quasi-experimental. So see correlation, it determines the relationship between two or more variables. Then ex post facto is examines cause and effect relationships without manipulation. Here experimental is involves manipulation of variables to determine cause and effect. Lastly, like experimental but lacks random assignment. So these are the types of quantitative research. So data collection techniques, here also survey, test, structured observation, experiments, secondary data analysis. So most of the thing from the qualitative is also repeating here. Still at the same time, here this particular structured observation, there we don't have that. Next, data analysis techniques of quantitative research. First is descriptive statistics, next inferential statistics, then graphical analysis, lastly software tools. So descriptive statistics, I said no, mean, median, mode and all those things, we are identifying descriptive based on that. Then inferential. So inferential means you are taking a t-test, ANOVA, regression and all those things for that. And graphical, that bar charts we are using. Lastly, the softwares we are using. I think SPSS and R are commonly used. To some extent, people are using Python and Stata also. Excel is a common thing we are using right now. So then sampling techniques. Here also see 4 types of sampling techniques are there. First is simple random sampling. So every member of a population has a equal chance. Next, stratified, actually this should be stratified random sampling. So population is divided into strata and samples drawn proportionally. So here for the first one, let me give an example. In a classroom of 60, I am randomly picking 10 people. That could be either all the 10 could be boys or all the 10 could be girls, or unequal mixture, that could be simple random sampling. But here stratified random sampling means I am dividing boys versus girls. So from boys I am drawing randomly 5 people, and from girls I am drawing randomly 5 people. Then cluster sampling, so random selection of entire groups or clusters. So here from first year one class to another class, I am clustering, that is I am picking sampling from the entire group. Then systematic sampling, so every nth item from a list is selected. So you know totally 61, so I am taking every 10th person. So number 10, number 20, number 30, number 40, number 50, and then number 60. So totally 6 people could be selected. So I am selecting every nth item from a list. So that is systematic sampling. So at last that thing is over. So now we are moving on to the steps of research. Actually, I don't want to give a different slide for this. So I have formed this image is formed from a ChatGPT. So based on the main things in the website, some they have given 8, some they have given 7, and some they have given 10. So here based on the ChatGPT data, and then I have created this image in the ChatGPT only. So just this is a like a flow chart. So I hope you know what is what. So I don't want to put a separate slide and explain all those things. So what are all the steps of research? First step is identifying the research problem. So there could be any problem. So what I am trying to identify. So what is the problem? That is the main thing I want to identify. That is the identifying the research problem. Now I have identified. I have to go through all kinds of literature that is relevant to that particular research problem. So here I am collecting all the data. That is, I am reviewing all the data to collect and present the and to identify the research gap in that particular research problem. Now I have after reviewing all the literature, I have identified the research gap. So from that research gap, I am formulating hypothesis or research questions. So now I have to, what I do, I have to properly plan a research design, how I have to conduct my research in order to identify the answers for this particular questions or to test this hypothesis. Now research design and planning, and then now I have planned what I want to do. So that is, this is technically could be called as theoretical framework in our normal terms. So then now I am moving on to the data collection, and based on the data collection I am analyzing the data, and then I am interpreting the particular data. So after this I am accumulating or compiling this particular interpretation of data into a visible, understandable format. That is the presentation of findings. So now I have presented my findings. Based on these findings, I am arriving at certain conclusions, and after that conclusions, I am making some recommendations. So these are the things. Lastly, after compiling all these things, I am reporting or I am publishing. So here I am reporting whatever I have found out in this total research. So I am reporting, that is report submission and or publication. So these are the steps of research. So that's all for today's class. So these are the bibliographies. So thank you.